Hi, I'm Zaman, this is Best Hombre, and today we're looking at Ryobi's One Touch, One Plus inflation system. I keep this in my vehicle at all times. It's quite helpful, and if you notice, I got a super huge 6 amp hour battery on here, so that in case I forget to charge it, it lasts quite a while, and if I ever need to help anybody out, it's there. Also, it has a regular inflator on the side, so you can deflate things and inflate regular air mattresses and inflatables outside of the car world. But as far as the car world is concerned, this is a go-to. All right, so it does have attachments for a ball or, you know, some other things that you might need to inflate, but this has a screw-on connector. So you essentially, and we're going to demonstrate this in a second, but you turn this on and you set what the pressure we want it to be at. So for example, my car 636, set it 36, and then when I turn it on, now let's take a look. So when you come near to the tire you want to take the pressure measurement from, locate and remove your little cap here, as long as you have one. Some people don't have one. And if you don't have one, you should get one, because you're basically going to be slowly leaking a little bit of air from here. But now that we have that off, this screws right on. And I'll show you what happens as you're screwing this on. I like to go lefty first, hear a click, and then go back. Let's see. There's the click. Hold on, I lost it. There's the click. And now it's perfectly threaded, so you don't have to worry about any bursting. So you hear that? So now it's feeding the machine. So now that it's connected, before I turn it on, it is telling me, actually, I should tighten this all the way. Once I have it tightened all the way, and you no longer hear anything coming out of the valve, this is the actual equalized pressure inside of the tire. So now when I press the plus button, this is the setting that I wanted it set to. So now double check. So I wanted it at 36, so I'll start it. Done. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Now it's equalized at 36 and it shut itself off. You can unscrew and put your cap back on and you're done. It's so easy. So now that I've set the tire to the correct inflation, and if you don't know, the way you find out what setting your car requires is you look inside of the driver's door. There should be a little sticker and it should tell you what the fronts and the rear should be set to. So this one sets at 36 pounds. I recommend getting yourselves one of these tire meters. It's very simple. It's actually very cheap. It's just this tiny little thing. You can stick it anywhere. And to make sure it's accurate, you put it flush onto a table, and you should see that it's set to 0. And then what we'll do is push this down so that it's out, and then you can stick it here and get a measurement reading for the depth of your tread. Now this will prevent you from having any surprises whenever you go to a dealership for an oil change and they tell you, oh, your tires are bald. You'll know better. Or you'll know they're bald and you'll go in there with the money ready to get it done, so you're not driving around on bald tires. But being that this is the front wheel, what I recommend doing is turning it out and having a look at the tread itself. Now that we have the wheel out, what you're going to be looking for is you're going to be looking for any imperfections that or curvatures in the face of the tire. The face of the tire should theoretically be flat, perfectly even. If you're rolling down the road, you have perfect air pressure at all times, you have perfect suspension, and you have no other issues, you should have a perfectly even tire tread. You're basically going to be looking at this across, looking at this. Now you can do this at the rear. You're going to basically just kind of get under the car and have a look. But for the front, it's easy because you can turn the wheel. And you can really feel all the way across. This feels pretty even. I mean, roundabout. And then you can take your measurement tool and double check. All the way across. To make sure you're getting pretty much the same measurement. For example, if you have more wear on the middle, that means you've been overinflating your tires. Too much air in the middle means the tires are pumped too much and the middle bumped up and it wore down faster. If you have too much wear on the sides, you're underinflating your tires. You're forgetting to inflate them. So now they're running with low air and more of the sides are getting worn down because it's not as inflated. If you have more wear on one side or the other, that's indicative of an alignment issue, which could be a suspension part failing, that's creating the extra wear, or your alignment's off. It could be normal for certain cars. For example, like rear-wheel drive cars that have aggressive alignment setups, they're gonna have a lot more wear on the inside. So if you have a rear-wheel drive car, take a look at the inside of your rear wheels, not the outside, to determine whether you have good tread. Now I do this about once a month, because every month your tire is gonna lose about 1 pound of pressure. But if the seasons are changing and it starts to get cold out, your tires are going to lose pressure faster because the air is condensing. I always do this on cold tires. What do I mean by cold tires? Cold tires is essentially just saying, hey, I just got to the car and I haven't driven on them yet, so they're not warmed up. So they're cold. That's the best time to check your air pressure, because that's when they set the recommended air pressure settings to. They set them to cold tire standards. So if you have a warm tire and you set your air pressure, you might find the next day that you actually don't have as much air in your tire than you thought you did, because that was when the air was all heated up and warm and moving around and expanded in a bit. So check your tires cold, get yourself a measurement gauge, and if you want to be able to never be stranded and not have to worry about gas station lines, get yourself an air pump. I like this Ryobi one. It's done a great job for me so far and hasn't had any issues, and honestly, knock on wood, I haven't had any problems. So I've used it many times for many things. That was knocking on wood.
What we do here is go back.